finding your mountain pose. And take a moment here and play around with the distance between your feet. So they don't have to be together, but you could explore that. You could explore the big toes almost touching and then your heels out slightly. But you could also have a bit more space between your feet. There's usually that sweet spot in which you feel more stable. So see if you can find that. And then shift your weight forward and back just a bit. Wiggle your toes, stretch them out. And then eventually find some stillness, even out the weight on the soles of the feet, and then align your joints, those major joints in your body, those knees over ankles, those hips over knees, those shoulders over hips. Allow your arms to just rest by your side and maybe turn your palms forward just to encourage a bit more opening through your chest, but without collapsing into lower back, so don't overdo it. And then find a bit more space between ears and shoulders, lengthening up. And if closing eyes works for you, closing eyes. And then allowing that transition to happen from being more focused on the outside to a bit more focus inward. And as always, making the practice your practice today. Allowing for the practice to do something for you, so don't be too pushy about it. Sometimes if you allow a little space for things to happen, you get surprised. And then let's just focus on that breath, a few inhales and exhales. Beginning to establish more or less a rhythm that you can come back to. With each breath, maybe making slight adjustments to your mountain pose. Maybe there are parts of the body that can feel or can move into a bit more ease, and then there might be other parts that can move into a bit more engagement. And let's take about 3 to 5 more breaths. Nothing else to do, breathing, noticing whatever you notice. And then if your eyes were closed, let's open those eyes and let's just bring hands to the heart. Press the palms against one another and spread your elbows out. Keep your shoulders down. Thumbs are kind of at the center of your chest. And then give an extra push through those palms. Feel your chest and your upper back engage. Take a full breath in. And take a full breath out. And then with your next inhale, reach your fingers all the way up towards the ceiling. See if you can keep your palms together. And then as you exhale, reach your arms out and down by your side. On your inhale, reach those arms out and up. And as you exhale, palms together and lower those hands to your heart. Again, pressing through those palms, spreading those elbows. So quite active through those arms and those shoulders. As you inhale, again, send those fingers towards the ceiling, reaching up, palms stay touching. And then as you exhale, arms wide and all the way down by your side. Let's do that one more time. Turn your palms up, reach those arms up, inhale. Palms touch, and as you exhale, lower those hands to your heart, thumbs to the center of the chest, pushing those elbows away from one another. With your next inhale, reach your arms again towards the ceiling, fingertips reach. And then as you exhale, just lower your left arm down and come into a side stretch. Right arm reaches up and over. Inhale, coming back through center. Exhale, take it to the other side. Inhale, back through center. On your exhale, bring those hands behind you, interlace them at your lower back. Straighten out those elbows, reach your knuckles down and find opening through your chest. Don't arch too much through that spine, so keep that lower belly drawing in. And just feel the shoulder blades come close together, the fronts of the shoulders stretch. Breathe in and breathe out. Releasing those hands, reaching them towards the ceiling, breath in. And now on your exhale, a nice bend in those knees, and we're folding forward, reaching your chest forward and down. Release your hands, bring them to your shins, halfway lift on the inhale, keep your knees bent, neutral spine. Exhale and fold. 2 more times like that. Inhale, half lift, draw belly to spine. Exhale, fold. And 1 more time. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, folding forward. Let's awaken those hamstrings so you can hold on to opposite elbows if that works for you. And then bend into your right knee and straighten the left. And switching from side to side a few times, finding that stretch through the hamstring of the leg that is extended. At your own pace. Breath in and breath out. And when you feel even on both sides, find a nice bend into both knees and then release your elbows and rise up into chair pose, lifting that torso. Arms can come overhead, and then on your exhale, lower hands to your heart. Stay sitting down, press those heels down, and maybe lift your toes and give them a wiggle. And then notice where your torso is. If you really round it forward, see if you can come up some, and allow those shoulders to move down the back. Breath in and breath out. With your next inhale, push the floor away, straightening legs, reach your arms tall and right arm down, side stretch, exhale. Back through center, inhale. Take it to the other side as you exhale. Back through center, inhale. Left foot is going to step back. We're going straight into warrior one, planting that left foot and bending into your right knee. Take your time, set your base, spread those toes so you're not gripping onto the mat. And then with your next inhale, reach your arms tall. As you exhale, bend your elbows, 90-degree angles. We're getting into that back body. Open up that chest, squeeze those shoulder blades, draw the elbows back. Inhale. As you exhale, bring those elbows forward. Try not to do this with your hands, so do it with your elbows. So it's the elbows that come towards one another. Again, open up on your inhale. Exhale, elbows forward. If you can, keep your hands moving away from one another. Inhale, open. Exhale, elbows forward. See if you can do this with your elbows shoulder height. 1 more time. Open up on your inhale. And then bring those elbows forward. Exhale. Now as you inhale, let's reach those arms towards the ceiling. And then once again, hands behind us, interlace them at your lower back. Send those knuckles down, open up through that chest. Breathe in, strong through the back leg, and breathe out. 1 more inhale, and 1 more exhale. Releasing those hands, reach your arms up, inhale. And as you exhale, send your weight forward, step that back foot forward, mountain pose, hands return to heart. Give a little press through those palms, spread your elbows, shoulders away from ears, strong through the legs. See if you can grow just a little taller through the top of the head. Breathing in and breathing out. With your next inhale, lift those fingers towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, arms wide and all the way down by your side. Inhale, arms lift overhead, palms touch. Exhale, lower your hands again to your heart. Palms pressing against one another. 1 more time like that. Inhale, fingers lift. Exhale, arms down by your side. And inhale, arms lift. And exhale, hands to your heart. Press through those palms. Now with your next inhale, reach your fingers towards the ceiling. And on your exhale, we're folding forward. A nice bend in the knees once again. Inhale into a halfway lift, neutral spine. Exhale and fold. 2 more times. We're going to add something as an option. Inhale, half lift, right arm by your ear reaches forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift, left arm by your ear reaching forward. Keep that neutral spine. Exhale, fold. Option now, halfway lift, both arms reaching forward. Draw belly to spine, strong through those legs. Remember, you can have a bend in them. On your exhale, fold all the way down. With your next inhale, bend into your knees, chair pose. Arms can reach by your ears. And as you exhale, bring those hands to your heart. Pause for a moment, wiggle those toes. If you need to, give your shoulders a little roll. Breath in and breath out. On the inhale, push the floor away, lengthen up. As you exhale, left arm down, side stretch. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, take it to the other side. Inhale through center. Right foot now is going to step back, and it's warrior one on this side. And pay attention to those transitions. So if you want to work a bit on your balance, those transitions are really good for that. So once you've got your warrior one stance, and on your inhale, let's reach those arms up. As we exhale, let's bend those elbows. Once again, those 90-degree angles, see if you can keep them. Draw those elbows back, inhale, and draw those elbows forward, exhale. And again, open, exhale, forward. 2 more times, open, and forward. Last one, open. And elbows forward, exhale. Arms are going to lift, inhale, and then hands behind you. Find the opposite interlace, the one that feels a little strange. And then send those knuckles down. Find that opening through your chest. And then make a point of drawing belly to spine. Engage through that right glute. Maybe bend a little bit more into your front knee. Breathing in. And breathing out. One more inhale and exhale. And now releasing those hands, lifting them up, stepping forward. Again, another opportunity to work on that balance, that strength as you step that right foot forward and bring hands to your heart, back into your mountain pose. Reaching those arms up, inhale. Finding a bend in those knees, forward fold on your exhale. Halfway lift, inhale, lengthen forward. And now as you exhale, plant your hands, step your feet back. We're coming into downward facing dog. And about 5 cycles of breath in your down dog. So if you want a little movement here, you can find a bend and a straightening of those knees, lifting and lowering of your heels, a shift from side to side of your hips. Maybe your gaze also from side to side. Let's take another breath in, finding stillness now. Breath out. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, let's lower those knees to the mat and let's come into a table pose. Hands are going to be under the shoulders and we're going to work on those wrists for a moment. So we're going to turn the left fingers towards the left, the right fingers towards the right, then the left fingers towards the knees or any amount in that direction, and then the right fingers also, and then turning those left fingers out again, right fingers out. Now they're going to go forward. And then they're going to face one another, left fingers towards the right, right fingers towards the left. And then let's return. Let's do that again. Fingers forward, out, towards us. And then again out, forward, and towards one another. And then pause here with those fingers pointing towards each other. And we're just going to shift the torso from side to side. So try to press a bit more through the ends of your fingers here. Try to keep that torso as if it was a plank, so it's not about side bending. And we're just working a bit on those wrists and those shoulders. A little bend in those elbows might be a good idea. And then the next time that you come through center, pause there. And we're going to try a cow and a cat, so it's going to feel a little strange. As you inhale, drop the belly, bring the chest forward, lift your gaze, spread those sit bones. And then on your exhale, round the spine and push through those hands. Allow your head to drop. 2 more times. Inhale into your cow pose. Exhale and round. Last one. Inhale, cow. Allow those elbows to bend some and exhale and push the floor away. Nice job. Neutral spine. Fingers are going to turn forward and just give a counter stretch to your wrist. So flip your left hand up. Palm is facing up. Fingers are pointing towards your knee and just give a little gentle press into the top of that left hand. Take a breath in. Take a breath. And then flip that palm, once again planting, and then switch. Right hand flips up, fingers towards your knee, palm facing up, a little bend in your right elbow, and just a little pressure, just enough to feel that counter pose from this regular table pose position. And then return that palm to the mat. And then from here, let's keep those knees where they're at. Let's walk those hands forward. Those hips are also staying over those knees, and we're coming into puppy pose, so that chest is going to move towards the ground, the head too. Maybe you're able to come onto your forearms and your elbows. You can allow those elbows to bend. They're kind of bending out. Left elbow to the left, right elbow to the right. And then see if you can feel that broadness through your chest, that stretch through your armpits. And make a point of lifting those sit bones just a little bit more. Breath in. And breath out. Nice job. Another inhale. And another exhale. And then from here, let's come all the way onto the belly. And we're going to meet in a Sphinx pose. So those forearms are going to be planted. Those elbows are going to be under your shoulders. And remember, your forearms are straight out in front of you with your palms facing down. Let's work on those legs for a moment. So those legs are going to be hip width. And you want to start pressing through the tops of your feet. And then you want to start squeezing through your glutes. And it will make a really big difference into how this Sphinx pose feels in that lower back. Push through your forearms. So you're finding a bit more length, a bit more height. And then imagine your shoulder blades trying to move away from one another. So left shoulder blade towards the left and right shoulder blade towards the right. And you can achieve that by pushing a bit more through those elbows and forearms. Take a full breath in. And take a full breath out. One more inhale. And now on your exhale, send your chest forward. Send your arms forward all the way out in front of you onto the mat. Now reach your fingers even further. So as if you were walking your hands forward, see if they can reach a bit more. And then really lengthen through your legs, through your feet. So make yourself as long as you can here. And then once you've got that length, push the hips down. On your inhale, lift your right arm and your left leg towards the ceiling. Try to keep that chest down, those hips down. Exhale and lower. Same thing on the other side. Left arm, right leg towards the ceiling. Exhale to lower. One more time each side. Right arm, left leg. Exhale, lower. And one more switch. Inhale to lift. And exhale and lower. Nice job. Bend your elbows. Hold on to opposite elbows in front of you and then rest your forehead on your forearms. Relax your heels out. Big toes might touch. And then wiggle your hips from side to side. Take 2 cycles of breath, maybe deeper into that belly. And then with your next inhale, bring your hands under your shoulders and push yourself back through a table pose, and then tucking your toes and all the way back into downward facing dog. Let the head relax towards the ground. And again, find a little movement. Bend and straighten your legs. Shift your hips from side to side. And if the neck feels a little stuck, gently move your gaze to the left and to the right. Finding stillness eventually and taking a full breath in and a full breath out. With your next inhale, walk your feet towards your hands towards your feet, folding forward at the top of the mat. Take a moment, if you want, you could hold on to opposite elbows. If it's available to grab opposite elbows or any part of the other arm behind your legs, do that. Bending your knees will help. And then you can give a little push of those legs into your arms. So a little action through outer hips and outer part of your legs. Breath in and breath out. One more inhale and exhale. And then we're going to release and rise. Bring hands to your hips. Find a slight bend in those knees, chin to chest as you slowly unroll your spine. Let your arms dangle by your side. Find again your mountain pose. Maybe shift your weight forward and back on the soles of the feet. Wiggle your toes. Return to that initial mountain pose, really present, and that balance between strength and engagement and ease and softness. One more breath. And use your next inhale to reach your arms towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, right arm down, coming into a side stretch. Back through center on the inhale and taking it to the other side as you exhale. Back through center, inhale. On your exhale, left foot is going to step back, coming back into warrior one. Planting the whole of that back foot. Remember about your legs being, or your feet being on train tracks. And those train tracks are as wide as your hips. And then you should feel stable here, and your hips should be level towards the front of your mat. See if you can bend a little bit more into that front knee, and then as you're ready, reach your arms towards the ceiling. On your exhale, arms are coming out into a T, and then bring your right arm under the left, coming into eagle arms, bending at your elbows. Your hands can come to shoulders. Your forearms might lift. Your palms might touch. And again, just find the version that will give you that stretch through upper back, engage through that lower belly. And then if your forearms are lifted, send your forearms away from you. Breathing in, a little bit more of a bend in the front knee, strong through that back leg, breath out. One more inhale and exhale. With your next inhale, unwind your arms, reach them up. And as you exhale, right hand is going to wrap around the left wrist. We're pulling that left wrist up first and then taking it over towards the right side. And this is going to make you have to press a bit more through that left foot so that you stay stable through your legs, and see if you can feel that stretch through the right side, the left side of your waist. Breathing in and breathing out. Come back through center on the inhale, and as you exhale, bring those hands behind you. Interlace them at your lower back, open up that chest. Option to stay lifted as we did before, or option to hinge forward and down. As you go forward and down, try not to draw your right hip forward, so draw it slightly back. And let's make it a bit more of a neutral spine here. So crown of the head is reaching straight forward and the knuckles are reaching in the opposite direction. Breath in and breath out. Press a bit more through that back foot. One more inhale and one more exhale. With your next inhale, rising up, release those hands, reach your arms, and as you exhale, little balance here, stepping forward, taking your time, slow things down. It will require more control. And then planting that left foot and bringing hands to your heart. Before we move on, take a full breath in. As you exhale, drop the chin to your chest. Breath in. Exhale, send the right ear towards the right shoulder. Breath in. And chin back to chest. And breath in. And left ear towards left shoulder. Breathing in and returning chin to chest. Lifting the gaze, looking forward, reaching your arms towards the ceiling, and on your exhale, folding. Halfway lift on your inhale, lengthen forward, and exhale, plant your hands, step your feet back, downward facing dog. Full breath in and full breath out. One more inhale. And on your exhale, let's lower those knees to the mat and come into a table pose. Hands are coming under those shoulders. Okay, so before, I can't remember if we did this on Monday, but anyway, it's about protraction and retraction of shoulders, of shoulder blades. And let's see if you can feel the difference between these two in this table pose. So retraction is drawing those shoulder blades towards one another. So we're not changing the arms or the elbows. And the only thing that's going to happen here is that your chest is going to drop between your arms. And as you drop your chest between your arms, you'll feel your shoulder blades come close together, right? And then protraction is going to be about pushing the floor away, and you're going to be lifting that chest away from the ground. So there's some space appearing again between your shoulder blades. So see if you can find this again. Dropping the chest, notice how that puts quite a bit of pressure into your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists. And then as you exhale, protract, so you're sending that chest away from the floor. And you've got to really push through your arms, and some space appears between those shoulder blades. Okay, let's do a few more like that. I like to do retraction with the inhale. So as I drop my chest, it's the inhale, and then exhale, I push that upper back up. And then exhale, I inhale, I drop, exhale, and I push. But you definitely could change the breath. You could do it the opposite way if that feels best. But see if you can feel that difference between retraction and protraction. And then as you do this, notice that this is not cow and cat, okay? Because here we're just doing upper spine. In cow and cat, we do the whole spine, right? It's the whole spine moving, extension and flexion. Here it's just that retraction and protraction of shoulder blades. Okay? And it's quite a bit of work, so you're probably already feeling it. I am. Let's take one more. And then from here, let's come all the way into a child's pose. So send your sit bones towards your heels. And then to relax those shoulders, bring your arms by your side. Your palms are facing up. Let your head rest towards the ground. Remember, you could have a block here for your head too. You could always place a pillow, blanket behind your knees. See if you can let the fronts of the shoulders drop, relax towards the ground. About 3 to 5 breaths right here. A good place to relax jaw and eyes. And maybe even an open mouth exhale. And then with your next inhale, bring those arms forward once again and make your way into downward facing dog, lifting sit bones and knees, allowing the head to drop. And once again, maybe a little movement if that feels good. And then eventually stillness for a breath in and for a breath out. And then let's walk those feet towards the hands towards the feet, and let's meet in a forward fold at the top of the mat. Take a moment here, holding on to opposite elbows. You choose in front, behind, a bit more active or a bit more relaxed, whatever you need. Breath in and breath out. And then let's bring those hands to the hips and slowly chin to chest, unroll that spine, making our way up to stand once again in mountain pose. Arms relaxed down by your side. Shift your weight forward and back. Feel your feet on the ground. Take a breath in and take a breath out. With your next inhale, reach your arms overhead. And as you exhale, right arm down, side stretch. Coming back through center, inhale, and taking it to the other side, exhale. Back through center, inhale. Now it's your right foot that's going to step back and into warrior one. And again, taking your time to get there, to settle, to get a stable, strong base. When you have that, inhale, those arms will lift. And as you exhale, open your arms out into a T and then bring your left arm under the right. See if you can cross at your elbows and then your version of eagle on this side. Shoulders, forearms, palms. And then trying to keep your elbows more or less in line with your shoulders and then drawing the belly towards the spine, really engaging through that right glute and bending maybe a little bit more into your front knee if that is available. If your forearms are lifted, try sending them away from your face. Notice what that does to your upper back. And then relax your jaw and your eyes. In all of the poses that we do, there is some getting into them, so some striving, some searching. But then you've got to let yourself be where you're at just to see what is there and what comes available. Let's take another breath in and another breath out. And then use your next inhale to release those arms, reaching them tall. And as you exhale, bringing those hands behind you, finding the opposite interlace of those fingers, sending the knuckles down, opening that chest. Maybe you stay here, maybe you hinge forward and down. Breath in and breath out, sending those shoulders away from your ears, reaching those knuckles away from the top of the head. One more inhale and exhale. And then rising up on the inhale, release those arms, reach them tall. And now it's your left hand that's going to hold on to that right wrist. And then let's pull that right wrist up. And you already feel that space in the right side of the waist. And then if you take it over to the left some, you might feel a bit more of that stretch. Try not to change your hip position or your leg position here. Breath in and breath out. With your next inhale, return, center, release, and then we're stepping forward. So bring weight into that front leg. See if you can really slow things down. Lift that back foot, bring it in, and then plant it and lower hands to your heart. Nice job. Take a full breath in and take a full breath out. With your next inhale, your arms can lift. And as you exhale, bend in those knees as we fold forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. And exhale, plant your hands, stepping feet back, downward facing dog. Full breath in. And full breath out. Now, with your next inhale, we're going to come into a plank pose. Shoulders are going to come over those wrists. And now you want to think about protraction of the shoulder blades. So remember how we were doing in table pose? We're not going to do that here, but I want you to notice if you're more dropping the chest between your arms. And if that's the case, you're going to push as if you were trying to get your shoulder blades again to move away from one another, but without lifting the whole spine or without rounding through the whole spine. So tailbone stays tucked. Take another breath in. Now on your exhale, just drop your knees down. Okay, so we're in a supported plank pose, not a table pose. The knees are well behind those hips. And take a full breath in. Think about length. Crown of the head reaching forward the whole time. As you exhale, we're going to bend those elbows. Keep reaching forward. Think about heels of the hands drawing towards your hips. And then lower all the way down on to the belly. Nice job. All right. So let's take a little rest here. Forearms in front of you. Forehead can rest on them. Relax your legs. Wiggle your hips. Take a full breath in. And take a full breath out. One more. Breath in. And breath out. And let's find a little practice, a little Cobra practice. We'll add some variations to the one we did on Monday, but we'll start with the regular one. So hands are going to come under your shoulders. And then what you want is to keep your elbows by your rib cage. And your elbows are pointing towards your feet, so pointing straight back. And right here, your face is still down or you're still facing the floor. But just by drawing those elbows towards your hips, notice the space that appears between shoulders and ears. And then see if you can keep that space. So neck stays long, engage through your legs, push through the tops of your feet, squeeze through your glutes, and then find any amount of lift of that upper back from the mat without using your hands too much. So there will be some weight into your hands, but try not to just do it about pushing through the hands. So try to engage through your back body to lift. No worries about how high you go. You shouldn't be going very high, actually. And then exhale and lower. 2 more times, just like that. Inhale, lift. Use legs. Exhale and lower. It's as if you had a rope between your shoulder blades, and it's pulling you up from that area. Inhale and lift. And exhale to lower. Let's do one more like that. Breath in, lift. And breath out and lower. Nice job. Arms in front of you. Once again, rest. Forehead relaxes. Heels out. Wiggle your hips. Relax those glutes. Breathe in. And breathe out. And another breath in. And a breath out. One more inhale. And one more exhale. So we're going to do a little experiment now. So we're going to go into that Cobra again, but this time without using the hands at all. So you want to try and float your hands just above the mat. Okay. So what we'll do first is we'll try to lift with that back strength. And as I say, you might not lift very much at all. Okay? But we'll engage that back body, and then we'll plant the hands, and then we'll push into the hands. And you might notice that you can really lift quite a bit more like that. So take a full breath in, hover hands over the mat, gaze is down, spine is long. As you exhale, pause, and then inhale. Let's find some lift. Use that back body. Exhale, stay. Take another breath in, breath out. And then plant your hands, and with your next inhale, push into the hands and see if you can lift that chest even more. Keep your elbows bent, keep your legs engaged. Breath in, elbows stay by the rib cage, and breath out. One more inhale. And then as you exhale, as we lower, lengthen forward, chest comes forward, and then down. And then arms in front of you once again. And relax legs, wiggle hips. Take a deep breath in. And take a long breath out. 2 more times, breathing in. And breathing out. And 1 more inhale. And exhale. Okay, third, I don't know, another variation. This time, instead of hands straight under the shoulders, we're going to bring them kind of to the upper corners of your mat. So they're going to go in front of the shoulders and a little wider, right? And again, see if you can do this with your hands hovering first, okay? Think about that movement that we do when I say 90-degree angles with elbows, and we draw the shoulder blades towards one another. So a little bit like that as you lift the chest, okay? So use your next inhale to find any amount of lift, and then plant your hands, and then push into those hands. See if you can lift higher. You might find those arms straightening more. So your hands are wide, remember, and forward. Don't worry if those arms don't straighten. Send those shoulders away from your ears and find a bit more lift. All along, your legs are engaged. Glutes are squeezing. It's a good way of protecting that lower back. Breath in. And then as you exhale, let's reach forward. So to reach forward is as if you were trying to draw your hands back towards your hips, reaching forward and down. Nice job. Rest. If it feels good here to bend your knees and let your feet flop from side to side, you could do that too. If the lower back is feeling it here, this might be a nice reset. Let's take another breath in and another breath out. And 1 more inhale. And exhale. If your feet were lifted, lower them back down. Bring your hands under your shoulders, and then through all fours, make your way into child's pose. Like child's pose is like the perfect counter pose for the cobras and those back bends, especially if your child's pose has your knees a bit more like towards hip width, so a bit more narrow. The spine can round a bit more. And maybe your forehead moves towards your knees. And anything that feels good to do with your arms, they could be out in front of you, but make it relaxed, so elbows bent, just heavy arms, or your arms could be by your side, palms facing up, if that feels good too. Another breath in, and another breath out. And then with your next inhale, let's come up into a table pose. And we'll go straight into cat pose. Okay, so neutral spine, and then on your exhale, round. And then see if you can come onto your fingertips and maybe walk your fingers towards your knees. And really push that back body up. Drop the head, chin towards your chest. Draw the belly towards your spine. Think about that tailbone trying to tuck between your legs. Breathing in. And breathing out. One more breath. And then with your next inhale, rising that spine, coming up to stand on those knees. And then from here, we're going to send those feet to the side. And then we're going to lower those sit bones straight behind us. You can plant your hand or you can reach your arms out in front of you. Flex through your hips. You've got your arms as counterweight as you gently lower those sit bones all the way down. And then your feet can come forward. And then we'll meet in a wide leg, knees bent position. So feet are going to be wide, outer edges of the mat. Knees are going to be bent. And then before anything, hands to your shins. Let's find a little cow and cat. Draw the belly, draw the chest forward, lift through the gaze. Exhale, round the spine. And then again, inhale, coming forward, up. Exhale, rounding. And one more time, inhale. Whole spine movement here, and exhale. And then let's come back through center. And with your next inhale, hands to the insides of your feet, maybe onto a block, and then just walk your hands forward, as far forward as is available. Maybe chin to chest. And taking a full breath in. And a full breath out. With your next inhale, walk those hands back towards you, lift that spine, and we're coming onto our backs. So feet can come hip width, knees are bent, your arms can reach in front of you. Take a full breath in and see if you can find space in the spine, length. And then on your exhale, see if you can come halfway and keep length in your spine. So chances are the chest closed up. See if you can open it. Take another breath. And now on your exhale, begin to round through your spine so that the lower back can lower, then the mid back, then that upper back, and then the head. And then once that whole spine is on the ground, draw your right knee in, give it a squeeze, and then bring that left knee in too, and give both knees a squeeze. You can rock a bit from side to side. Make any adjustments to your neck. So a lot of times we can lengthen it a bit more, lengthen the back of the neck. So sliding the back of the head a little further back. And then let's find a happy baby. Those knees are going to go wide towards your armpits. Heels can stay floppy towards the glutes, or you could bring your hands behind your knees and lift those feet towards the ceiling. And see what feels good here. After those back bends, it might feel good to neutralize the spine against the mat. But if it feels good to lift that sacrum a bit, so find a bit more rounding through that lower back, then do so. But again, do it with intention. Okay, so don't just do what automatically comes to you. See if you can question it, see if you can test things out, and then make decisions about what you might need or what might feel best at this moment. We'll stay for 3 more breaths. And then let's bring those knees back together. And we're going to go into a reclined twist. So I want you to see what works for you right now. After kind of the back bending, the lower, depends where you need it in the spine. So you choose here if with your twist you want your knees closer to your chest or a little further away from your chest. And you can test it out and see how it feels. Right now, kind of my thought is knees close to the chest. That's kind of what I kind of want to do. But there's always gradations here, so you can check how it feels in your body. Anyway, knees are going to go to the left, and we're going to go into a spinal twist like that. So taking those knees over to the left side, a block on the left side, and resting your knees on that might be a good idea if they don't reach the ground. And then your right arm is going out into a T. Your chest is pointing in the direction or towards the ceiling. And then you can use your left arm to kind of pin your legs towards the left side and use that as leverage if you need a bit more twist to turn your torso a little bit more. Maybe your gaze goes over towards the right side. Usually knees towards the chest can feel a bit more intense. When your knees are a bit further away from your chest, it's a bit looser twist. So you can test that out too and see how that feels in your own body. And give yourself a couple more breaths, wherever you're at. And then as you're ready, prepare for the other side. Come back through center. You might take a moment at center, shift your weight a bit from side to side. And then as you're ready, take it over towards the right, knees towards the right side. Your left arm can come out into a T. Your right arm can help those legs move a bit more towards the right and your chest a bit more towards the left. Maybe your gaze goes over to the left too. And then let yourself breathe here. As best you can, relaxing the face and the jaw, relaxing eyes. And giving yourself a couple more breaths. And then when you're ready, bring yourself back through center. And again, maybe a little movement from side to side. Maybe a bit of a circling of those knees with the knees together, with the direction. And then hooking those knees in a bit closer to the chest. See if you can lift your forehead towards your knees. And take a full breath in. And take a full breath out. And then relax the head back to the mat. Lower those feet to the mat. Let your knees stay bent and then rest the knees against one another. Rest your hands on your belly. And then if it feels good, see if you can get your lower back onto the mat or closer to your mat. So that tilt of your pelvis, tailbone, kind of drawing between those legs. And at the same time, lengthen once again through the back of your neck. Chin slightly towards your chest. And then give yourself a breath in. And then a long open mouth exhale. And let's find another one like that. Breath in. And long, open mouth exhale. And then from here, let's find some stillness. Let's find more ease than effort. Your Savasana. Nothing else to do at this moment. As best you can, allow the body to get soft, to relax. And then transitioning from that doing mode to more of a not doing mode. Whatever your attention is at this moment, notice it. And then gently guide it once again towards your breath. And find a bit more intention behind that breath. And then begin to find some movement through the body. And taking your time to move in any way that feels good. And then eventually, if you are on your back, roll onto one side. Before rising up, give yourself a breath in and a breath out. And then you can use your hands to gently push yourself up. Or find a comfortable seat. Rest your hands in your lap, at your heart. Find that lifted spine. maybe eyes closed, taking this moment to acknowledge the practice, to acknowledge ourselves for practicing, to acknowledge those who practice with us, to acknowledge all those who make it possible. And ending with a word that means that the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.